On this episode, we'll talk about counting carbs with fruits and vegetables. We'll also talk about our practice, gastric sleeve and gastric bypass. And we'll also talk about hiatal hernias found during surgery. Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Alvarez from Endobariatric.com, and this is episode 71 of the AskDrA show. Really good questions. On this episode, we'll be talking a little bit about how we manage my practice, mainly with two of the three questions that came in this week. And if you're new to the show, I always remind our viewers, always submit your questions. We will add them to our show. Two ways: use the hashtag AskDrA on social media, or just go ahead and add my username on Snapchat, and it comes directly to my phone, and you'll get to see my day-to-day stuff that we do, well, I do, along with our practice. So let's get into the show.
When counting carbs, do you include natural sugars from fruits and vegetables?
All right, so if you're counting carbs, should you look out for natural sugars found in vegetables, found in fruits? The answer is yes. If you are following a low-carb diet, you should stay away from natural sweeteners or natural sugar, in this case fructose, found in fruits, and you need to take them into account because they do contain quite a bit of carbs, grams in carbs. So if you're looking at lowering your carb intake, you need to stay away and do count the amount of grams of carbs found in vegetables and in fruits.
Does your clinic only perform gastric sleeve? And why not bypass?
All right, so in our practice, it's been over maybe 3-4 years, we have been, maybe more, we have been focusing only and solely on the gastric sleeve procedure. Why? If we don't focus on the gastric bypass anymore because it's a more invasive procedure, it's a procedure that takes longer to perform, it's a procedure that comes with long-term complications, with internal hernias, with marginal ulcers, bleeding ulcers, malnutrition, malnourishment, vitamin deficiencies. I can keep on going. You get the point. That's a gastric bypass. Gastric sleeve, on the other hand, it's a very fast procedure. It's a procedure that we, in our practice, takes us 25 minutes to complete. Does not have all those complications I mentioned. The ulcers, does not have all those issues with malabsorption, malnutrition. We don't bypass the intestine, therefore there is no rerouting of intestines or places of internal hernias happening down the road. There's nothing of that stuff. So I truly believe on the gastric sleeve. That is why I have written certain books, several books on the gastric sleeve, and focus my practice on this procedure. I truly believe in this procedure. Well, I've done my mom's surgery on it. I wouldn't recommend nothing else rather than the gastric sleeve. So I will sum it up there.
Do you perform hiatal hernia repair without fundoplication?
All right, so what happens if you find a hiatal hernia during surgery? That we normally find it in about 3 out of 10 patients that go into surgery. We do find a hiatal hernia. A hiatal hernia, and just as a quick note, it's a gap between your thorax and your abdomen. Part of your stomach is sliding into your thorax. We pull it back into place. It's left a little gap. We close it up, and we don't do fundoplication because actually part of the stomach is going to be removed as part of the gastric sleeve. So we do calibrate that hiatus, that hole, that gap, which is a natural gap, calibrate it to a nice opening for food and the esophagus to come down, and the rest of the stomach as part of the gastric sleeve is removed. There is no chance to perform a fundoplication. Now, back in the 90s, 2000s, 2010s, the procedure of a Nissen fundoplication was indicated for patients with GERD, gastroesophageal reflux disease. Those patients went into a procedure called fundoplication. We went in laparoscopically, fixed the hiatal hernia, and plicate the stomach, wrap the stomach around itself to prevent the heartburn, the reflux. But in this case, it's totally different. We are going into an abdomen to perform a gastric sleeve, but at the same time, we find a hiatal hernia, we fix it up for the patient, and we perform the gastric sleeve surgery. All right, so that's it for episode 71 of the Ask Dr. A show. Please submit your questions using the hashtag, don't forget, AskDrA, and or through my Snapchat. Thank you so much. Question, I got a question for you. So how do you feel about our practice focusing only on the gastric sleeve surgery? Would you feel more comfortable rather than us doing 3 or 4 different types of weight loss surgery? What are your thoughts on a practice that focuses only on the gastric sleeve? On the comments, I am really curious on this one. I'm Dr. Alvarez. I'll see you in the next episode.